So the last bit of major work on the DR200 is to swap the swing arms over. There's a swing arm from the farm bike, the 2007. It was pretty well seized in there. Replaced all the bearings and seals for the swing arm pivot and the shock mount, and given a bit of clean up. The one that's on the 85 here has had the mounts for the chainguard cut off, so this just makes it that bit easier to get it through the re-bin inspection. I thought about sticking some new mounts on there, but might as well do it this way. I think the only difference, if this one is an 85 swing arm, I believe the only difference is the inner seal on the swing arm pivot there. Everything else in the part book looks to be the same other than the inner seal, so maybe it's a little bit thicker, I don't know, I think it will just bolt up. These are the new needle bearings, the all balls kits, so that's changed the original swing arm pivot from just a plastic mount to a bearing, so that should be a little bit better. The previous owner changed the shock on this just before I got it, I think, so I think it should all come out apart, no worries. There was a bunch of extra seals and bearings and things in the kit, spare parts that I got, so probably the ones in there have been swapped over, so it should be a lot easier than trying to get this one out of the old farm bike. So those were really stuck in there, you wouldn't get them out without a big press. I don't think they'd had any grease on them for probably 10 years. They were dry and the bearings were totally rusted together, so hopefully the holes are alright. We'll clean this up and get some new hardware in there. So I just got a all balls swing arm kit for the DR. They seem to be all the same, apart from the very early swing arms have a different seal on the inside. but it looks like you can just swap the whole swing arm over, no worries. So I'm just going to press them back in with the press. Make sure it's going in nice and straight. Doesn't take too much pressure to get them back in once you've cleaned the hole out. So we just line that up. So we'll just get that started. And then once it's started, I've got a socket here that's going to press down on it. I've just put that tape at 6.2 millimeters. You need to put the bearing in deep enough that you can fit the seal on each side. So the depth of the seal is going to be that depth. So once that's started, you know, it's most of the way in, it should go in quite straight. Now with this, there we go. So that's our two needle bearings. Put them there. I've got some like marine grease. I tend to ride the motorbike in the rain a lot. If there are any water crossings, helps to have some waterproof grease in there. So I'm going to load that right up basically as much grease as I can work into the bearing as possible. So it's pretty loaded up. Same on the other side. There's grease, probably wear gloves. It's got a lot of sulphur or something in it, I think. Not good for your skin. Cool, so it's pretty loaded up. Now, that's the piece that goes inside the bearing, so it'll just go in like that. The seal, once the seals are in, the seal will hold it in there. So this kit came with all the same seals, so I think it's everything 1988 later and later, from what I could see on the microfiche. There's our seal. So we want to just lubricate the inside of that seal up before we put it in. Get all those surfaces lubed up. And it should just push in. And then once you've got it in, you can put a socket against it and give it a little tap just to seat it down. Just gentle on it so it doesn't get warped or anything. Cool. So put that center thing back in. So just loaded that in to keep the needle bearings in there. Last two seals. Cool, that's going on straight. Pushing through. This bottom one, another tap. And then nice and straight. String should go through there. And then those ones are sorted. So, the kit also comes with these little top hat seals. So those go on, like, cover this bit. So those will go on when we swap the swing arm over. So now I've got the shock mount change. Right, so we got that one in the end. It looks like it had been maybe galled up when I removed it. There was a whole lot of little ridges that looked like they were machined, and then where the previous bearing as it came out had been spun, so it had some sort of marks in there, and I had to hog it out a whole bunch. I just used some 80 grit on this rod. You just cut a slot in it so you can get your sandpaper or whatever in there. It took probably a good 15 minutes of sanding to take it out enough to get that bearing to press fit in there. I've sort of had it in and out probably 20 times, you know, do a minute, 30 seconds, and then try it again for size. But it was only going in about that much, and then just jamming totally, even with, you know, 10 ton of pressure on it, it was not moving. So a bit strange, but there you go. Looks like these all balls bearings are a little bit shorter. I think that's the original one that came out. A little bit shorter lengthwise, I guess, so, or was it longer? So they got a different seal, I suppose, over stock. So let's grease these up, and we'll put our seals in. What do you got? Huh? Awesome, so that looks like brand new brake pads in there, grooved ones. It's good. So yeah, all these bearings and seals and things look like they've been changed recently. So I'll just swap over the chain guide and stuff onto the new swing arm, and it should just be able to go back in. Looking at this swing arm on the swing arm bearing end, it looks the same, I think. So these swing arms look the same. This one might even be a later model one, just with some new stickers on it. So whether or not this is an original 80s swing arm, I don't know. It's had the swing arm bearings there changed out to the roller bearings. So it looks like you can just interchange them. It's just those inner seals on the parts list that are different. So I'll swap over all these little accessories to the new swing arm, and it can go straight in, and then this original swing arm will go on the 87 bike. So one change between these two swing arms is the I guess the riv nut or the insert nut cert in there. On this later swing arm, seems to be tack welded, and it's got a larger thread. So off this the one that came off this 85 looks like I don't know, an M5, and that one's an M6. I can see why they've put the tack weld in there as well, because this side here is spinning, so I'll figure that out at some point. So it just means I use the original bolts. So one of the last parts is this chain guard. This is off the farm bike. You see it's got a full coverage on the back to keep the cow shit and stuff out. Looks like the ones for just the dual sports I see online are just this section here, and have an inch strip down the back there, so you'd carry that on. So I think I'm going to cut that piece off on the back. I don't really need that full coverage. I think this is, you must use a similar mould, and they just cut these or stamp these bits out, but I'll leave them in there. Can get a new chain guard for I think it's like a 2007 onwards bike, which should all be the same anyway, for about $14 US. It's probably about $20 by the time it's landed here. But I've got this, it's got a bit of damage on the back, so I'm not cutting it up. I just cut that bit off square, I think. And yeah, I'll just cut it through there and maybe hit it with the heat gun to smooth it off and bolt it up. Alright, so with the swing arm done, all that's left is the output shaft needs a seal and an O-ring changed on there. There's a little bit of a leak, and then it's ready to go for its re-in.